Hey, 8th graders, Catlin here with your homework help for lesson 13. Let's jump right into it. We're looking at graph and linear equations, and I'm giving you 2 points that this particular line is graphed through, and you have to sketch it. So we have to use these 2 points that are given to sketch what the graph of the equation would look like. So I'm going to do that over here to the side. Let's go back and let's do a straight line since I have that tool on here and make it look a little cleaner. So here's my y-axis and here is my x-axis. And we want to plot points -2, 0. Okay, so back 1, 2, 0 would be right there. And we also want to plot 0, -6. So go nowhere left and right and go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That would put us right here. And we want to connect those with our lines. So we're going to piece those together to show that this is our line right here. It says to graph it, passes through those points, use the 2 points to sketch the graph of the equation. So we have that done. This would be the point -2, 0. And this one right here would be the point 0, -6. We can tell a lot of things from that graph. We know that our equation is going to have a negative slope. We know it has a y-intercept of -6. So that might help us answer number 2. Let's see what number 2 asks us to do. Is 3x minus y equals -6 an equation for this graph? And then explain how you know. Well, if our graph is represented by this equation, then the ordered pairs that we use to create it should make that equation true. So the way that I'm going to check it is I'm going to plug in a pair of my x and y values in for x and y and see if it makes it true. So I'm going to replace the x in my equation with the ordered pair -2 because it's in x's place. And I'm going to replace y with 0 because that's the same y value for that ordered pair. And I want to test to see if that equals -6 when I work it out. If this is true, then I know it could possibly be the equation for that graph. If it's not, then it's a no-brainer that it's not the equation. So 3 times -2 is -6. And -6 take away nothing is -6. So that one works. Let's try out the other point. If that one works, we're feeling really confident. So let's try out the other point and let's see if it works. 3 multiplied by x of 0, subtract our y, which is actually a -6. Does that equal -6? Well, 3 times nothing is 0. And 0 minus a -6 is really the same as adding 6. And 6 does not equal -6. So we're going to say, is this equation for the graph? We're going to say no. And we know that because the point 0, -6 doesn't make the equation true. Now, what I've done for you guys this week, since we're kind of low on lessons, we're doing a lot of practice and uh, learning how to do this and just getting extra time in on it, is I'm going to do a couple of these for you and then let you do the rest on your own. So I'm only going to do a couple of examples. This will be a little different than your typical homework. So I'm just going to do a couple for you and then let you finish the rest on your own. If you have trouble, you can always email me. But I'm not going to do a whole video of how to do these. It's pretty straightforward once you get started. Okay. So for each of these equations, you're going to find y when x is -3. And then you're going to find x when y is 2. So you're going to plug in these x and y values into the equation and solve for the other letter. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to copy down the equation. And then you're going to replace first x for -3 and find y. So this one would be x is going to get replaced by -3. And your job is to find out what y is. And then for the other one, which I'll do over here in purple, we're going to use the same equation, which is y equals 6x plus 8. But we're going to replace y as 2, and we're going to find out what x is. Okay, so those are our 2 things that we're going to do for this first one. So over here on the side, we've got -18 for their product. And when we add -18 and 8, we actually go back up towards 0 and get -10. So for the first one, we're going to have y equals -10. when x equals -3. And then for the other one, we're going to we plugged in 2 for y, and we have to solve this. So we need to get x by itself. So we're going to subtract 8 from both sides to get rid of that 8. And this would give us nothing on the right, -6 on the left. 6x equals -6. So what times 6 is -6? X would have to be their quotient. So we would do -6 divided by 6, which is -1. So x equals -1 when y equals 2, because we plugged in 2 for y, as you can see here. So you're going to have a pair of answers for each problem. I'm going to do one more with you over here, and then the rest I'll leave up to you to do for C, D, and E. Okay? So let's do y equals 2/3 x equals 2/3 x. And remember that we're going to do this for x being -3 and for y being 2. So on the left side over here, we're going to find y when x is equal to -3. And I'm going to write it in improper fraction form. Same thing as -3, -3/1. And then for this other one, I'll do in this pink color, and I will replace y with 2 and find x. So we'll have 2 in y's place, and we will solve for x. Okay, let's do the green one first because it's just straight up multiplication. A positive times a negative is a negative. So we know that we're going to get y equals negative something. And then 2 times 3 is 6. And 3 times 1 in the denominator is 3. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we get -2 for y. So y will equal -2 when x is equal to -3. And let's do the other one over here on this side. If we're going to find out what x is in this particular case, then we're going to divide both sides by 2/3 because x is getting multiplied by 2/3. So dividing by 2/3 would be the thing that would undo the multiplication by 2/3 and leave us with x by itself. So to get our answer, we're essentially going to do 2/1 divided by 2/3, which if you keep, change, and flip, you would find out what x is. So 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 2 is 2. You would get 6/2, which gives us x equals 3. So x will equal 3 when y is equal to 2. And we know that those pairs of ordered pairs, I put them in the wrong spot. I'm sorry. Both of these answers go here. Sorry about that. So those are my answers for part B. C, D, and E, I will leave up to you to work out on your own. There's other ways to get this, obviously, but that is your help. You will get 3 more answers on your own, and I'll check those on Thursday this week, which was when we'll have our quiz and when we'll have our homework due. See you guys.